There we go. 3, 2, 1, and YouTube. There we go. Good morning, folks. Here we are. Up for another Saturday morning. Shenanigans. Okay, Todd.
Morning. Morning.
Morning. Yeah, I forgot to bring my ass. I forgot the little fish thing.
Yeah.
Got the little fish thing. There we go. Just imagine this little fish running around going, morning. Okay. What are we going to talk about today?
Life, the universe, and everything.
Oh, I did have an article I wanted to throw up, of course. I had an article here. Is it? If I can just find what I did with it, because I think I closed that browser window. I've got to go over here. Is it under in Thailand or is it under general news? Oh God, it was here. Where did it go to? It was about the Russians invading Phuket. That's what I was going to... Oh, there it is. Yeah. Come on, can we just drag that across the other window? Thank you. There we go. I don't know. I was going to get some feedback on what people thought about this particular story. XO, how you doing? Dilbo? I can always think, why don't I call dilbo? Something about the word dildo I have a trouble with saying. And Joseph, g'day Joseph, how you doing? That's a new name. I don't think I've seen you here before. Welcome along to the channel. Okay, moving right along. Yeah, so this article popped up earlier this week, and of course this one here has already been refuted by the governor of Phuket, saying no, there is no problem. So we just want to get that caveat out of the way. But it's an interesting story. Russian-only businesses in Thailand, Phuket spark backlash. Local tourist resort. Locals on the tourist resort claim Russians fleeing fallout from war in Russia are stealing Thai jobs. Well, if that's the case, they'll be hot on that case. But huge influx of Russians in Phuket is producing a backlash from locals amid complaints of booming Russian-only economy that covers everything from hair salons to taxi firms. More than 400,000 Russians have arrived on the Thai tourist island between January and July this year, according to authorities, double the number of visitors before Russia's war against Ukraine. So, yeah, I think the numbers sort of speak for themselves. They want to get out. Like, everybody runs away from that stuff. They don't want to be part of it. It's only the oligarchs that want war. I think the rest of our whole population want peace, don't we? I don't know. Any comments?
Yeah.
It's only the people with money want war because they want more money or something like that. And they're going to put all the pawns on the front line. You know how the game of chess works. Yeah. Anyway, growing Russian presences is bringing rapid change. Property prices have surged, which, although a boon for Thai owners and realtors, has made it more difficult for renters to find affordable places on the island. Russian-only businesses have sprung up, often run through Russian language apps and staffed by people working illegally. There's also been reports of Russian sex workers operating along the nightlife epicenter of Bangalore Road, mainly for Russian clientele. Rubles stay with Russians. We're affected by these Russians who come to run the whole tourist business. The resident of the Thailand Band Club, which represents 200 tourist minibus operators. It's hard to imagine 200 minibuses down there by one group. They drive personal vehicles, have not been registered with the Thai Transport Department as service vehicles, picking up tourists who are booking them through Russian apps, offering nearly 20% cheaper fare. Well, that's the thing that really caught my eye. Well, that says one thing, right? The reason why they're doing it is the Thais are ripping people off, right? So they're going under the table. We already know about the taxi mafia down there. It's ludicrous, right? And the charges that they're charging, the fares they're charging from the airport delivery for what, 3 kilometres or something, or 5 kilometres. They're charging 300 baht, 500 baht, or whatever. Some ridiculous fees. Not quite sure what it is. I've never been to Phuket, so I really don't know the lay of the land. But yeah, so let's have a talk about it. You know, this goes on just. But anyway, the Russian governor has come out this morning and says that's not the case. You know, he's trying to diffuse something which we all know is going on, but this is Thailand. We don't worry about what's really going on, what the news says. We know what's going on. It's obvious. So let's have a look at what people are thinking. Was it Joseph? Good afternoon. First time, okay. Hopefully you'll be around again. We just normally just spend this Saturday morning just talking about shit and chatting amongst the group. We're all crazy people. Some of us live here, some of us don't. Some of us want to live here, some of us never want to go back here. I don't know. It's the way it works, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thailand's one of those weird places that you know, you either love it or you hate it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're talking to people who love it. And would like to see the country run a little bit better sometimes. Did they say 400,000 Russians were in Phuket? Well, 400,000 have visited since January. I'm pretty sure we didn't see 400,000 living there at the moment. I'm pretty sure it's a lot less on a rotational basis, but unfortunately, they've moved in. They're basically, you know, doing all the stuff that the people from Myanmar and Laos do, but they do it up in the north. You know, the Russians come down because they can afford the airfares. They come down to Phuket because that's where the party zone is. You know, it's obvious. You know, I am the machine. Sorry, I didn't want to make you spill your coffee there.
Right. Poor timing on my behalf.
Yeah. Yeah, each plane load of 350 approximately. Yeah. Somebody does their math. Good on you, Joseph. You can be a math expert because I'm useless at math. Oh, it's a mosquito. Yong. Joseph has met Todd in Bangkok before. Okay. When Thailand,
Did you, mate? Ah.
When in Thailand I lived in Supanburi. Okay. Well, are you coming back? It sounds like he's coming back. He's probably just checking the lay of the land. Is it safe to come back?
Oh. Well,
it's always safe to come back as
Yeah.
long as you go to the right places. There's 3 places you don't go to. You don't go to Phuket. You don't go to Patpong. You don't go to Phuket. Phuket, Pattaya. They start with 3 P's. The 3 P's you don't go to. Oh, you met me. Okay. So, I've met a few Josephs. I'd have to have a picture to get an idea, and I can't tell from that thumbnail little picture what it is. It's just way too small. Maybe working banker from next year. Okay. So what are you planning to do when you get here, Joseph? You got some sort of multinational company you've got lined up, or you're striking out for a work visa in some sort of field?
Well, there's already 2 things. He knows maths and he said the W word, so...
Yeah, Phuket's nice as long as you know your way around the land. You know, why have I never been to Phuket? Well, one, you know, it's never really sort of floated my boat to want to go. They don't have surf, or they call it surf, but it's like northern beaches in Sydney, mate. That was surf. What they have in Phuket is like kids' wading pools. You know,
Yeah.
you get out a tri-fin there and try to get a 3-foot swell. You try to get a 3-foot wave, let alone a 3-foot swell. You're waiting all year, aren't you? Anyway, I can't surf anymore. I got gammy feet. But yeah. So Phuket was never on my radar for coming here, and of course Shanya's given me this emphatic no. Right, she will not go to Phuket. Why? Because it's not Thailand. It's too expensive, even for a Thai. Right, she doesn't go to Pattaya because the ladyboys get victimised down there quite badly, and well, she's never really been to to Patpong. She thinks Patpong's all go-go bars and ping pong shows. Little as you know, it's pretty much all closed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We may see a resurgence in Patpong some year in the future when things settle down. Um, Oh, you went to both to the like. That's one place I wouldn't mind going and checking out, just to say I've been to James Bond Island.
It's not that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went there and I got to say, I got to. Oh, gee, you're going to get the grade. I came here in 2010 or 11,
Mm.
or before that, 2009 or something, and went there. So yeah, I've experienced Patong and Phuket and everything. But everything was organised with the tour, so I didn't have to worry about the taxis and everything like that. But going out to Phi Island, yeah, even back then it was okay. But I'm lucky enough to enjoy a lot of the beaches and scenery on Australia's coastline. So the comparison, I don't know, just my opinion. It wasn't worth the money we paid for the boat to get out there. Let me put it that way.
Mm. Oh, another thing, Joseph, we do have a Discord channel. That's where we are, and you're quite welcome to come and chat with us rather than doing all the typing stuff. You know, if you're lazy like me. I always hit Jen up about that. He goes on stream and then he doesn't go onto Discord. What, you want me to type today? Oh, bugger that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah. What's it? I know all you Aussies are our three surfing Great Barrier Reefs and top West Shard and June, like sand. Surfing these. Oh, okay. Just got to read the right. Yeah, I hate the way it does that. All you Aussies are there surfing the Great Barrier Reef on top of great white sharks like a dune sand rider. I love that. We're gonna massage that. You know, the description of an Aussie.
I just put that in the just for fun earlier, but I don't know whether you've read that.
I haven't read it yet. We're going to read that, are we? I don't know.
Well, I can if you want, I can do that. Like it was written by Douglas Adams.
Was it? Okay. What did Todd write this morning? Okay. I might need to go bigger. Hold on. If you haven't seen Discord, this is Discord. This is where we are. Just, this is what Discord is. The following has... Look, you can read it, Todd.
All right.
Yeah.
The following has been written by the late Douglas Adams, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy fame. Australia is a very confusing place, taking up a large amount of the bottom half of the planet. It is recognisable from orbit because of its many unusual features, including what at first looks like an enormous bite taken out of its southern edge, a wall of sheer cliffs which plunge into the girthing sea. Geologists assure us that this is simply an accident of a GMO whatever, but they still call it the Great Australian Bight, proving that not only are they covering up a more frightening theory, but they can't even spell. The first of the confusing things about Australia is the status of the place. Where other land masses and sovereign lands are classified as continent, island or country, Australia is considered all three. Typically, it is unique in this. The second confusing thing about Australia is the animals. They can be divided into three categories: poisonous, odd and sheep. It's true that of the 10 most poisonous arachnids on the planet, Australia has 9 of them. Actually, it would be more accurate to say that of the 9 most poisonous arachnids, Australia has all of them.
Yeah.
Any visitors should be careful to check inside boots before putting them on, or under toilet seats before sitting down, and generally everywhere else. And a stick is very useful for this task. The last confusing thing about Australia is its inhabitants. A short history. Sometime around 40,000 years ago, some people arrived in boats from the north. They ate all the available food and a lot of them died. The ones who survived learned respect for the balance of nature, man's proper place in the scheme of things, and spiders. They settled in and spent a lot of the intervening time making up strange stories. They also discovered a stick that kept coming back to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, called a boomerang, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Then around 200 years ago, Europeans arrived in boats from the north. More accurately, European convicts were sent with a few deranged people in charge. They tried to plant their crops in autumn, failing to take account of the reverse of the seasons, ate all their food, and a lot of them died. About then, the sheep arrived and have been treasured ever since. It is interesting to note here in the European ways consider themselves vastly superior to any other race they encounter, since they can't lie, cheat, steal, and litigate. Yeah, marks of civilized culture, they say, whereas all the Aboriginals can do is happily survive, being left in the middle of a vast red-hot desert equipped with a stick. Eventually, the new lot of people stopped being Europeans on extended holiday and became Australians. The changes are subtle but deep, caused by the mind-stretching expanse of nothingness and eerie quiet, where a person can sit perfectly still and look deep inside themselves to the core of their essence, their reasonings for being, and the necessity of checking inside their boots every morning for the fatal surprises. They also picked up the most finely tuned sense of irony in the world and the Aboriginal gift for making up stories. Be warned. There is also the matter of the beaches. Australian beaches are simply the nicest and best in the world, although actually anyone venturing into the sea will have to be contended with sharks, stinging jellyfish, stonefish, and he didn't put in here, but an octopus the size of your thumbnail that can also kill. The stonefish, a fish which sits on the bottom of the sea, pretends to be a rock and has venomous barbs sticking out of its back that will kill you just from the pain, and surfboarders there. However, watching the beach sunset is worth the risk. As a result of all this hardship, dirt, thirst, and wombats, you would expect Australians to be sour. Instead, they are a genial, jolly, cheerful, and always willing to share a kind word with a stranger. Faced with insurmountable odds and impossible problems, they smile disarmingly and look for a stick. Major engineering feats have been performed with sheets of corrugated iron, string, and mud. Alone of all the races on Earth, they seem to be free from the grass is greener on the other side of the fence syndrome, and proudly proclaim that Australia is in fact the other side of the fence. They call it Land Oz, or God's Own, a verbal construction of God's own country. The irritating thing about this is they may be right. Tips to surviving Australia: don't ever put your hand down a hole for any reason whatsoever. The beer is stronger than you think, regardless of how strong you think it is. Always carry a stick. Air conditioning is imperative. Do not attempt to use Australian slang unless you're a trained linguist and extremely good in a fist fight. Wear thick socks. Take good maps. Stopping to ask directions only works when there are people nearby. If you leave the urban area, carry several litres of water with you at all times, you will die. And don't forget a stick. Even the most embellished stories told by Australians, there's always a core of truth that is unwise to ignore. How to identify Australians? They pronounce Melbourne, as I just did.
Melbourne.
They think it makes perfect sense to decorate highways with large fiberglass bananas, prawns, and sheep. They think Woolloomooloo is perfectly a reasonable name for a place, that Wagga Wagga can be abbreviated to Wagga, but Woy Woy cannot be called Woy.
Yeah.
Their hamburgers will contain beetroot. Apparently it's a must-have. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
How else do you get a stain on your shirt? They don't think it's summer until the steering wheel and leather seats in your car are too hot to handle and sit on. They believe that all train tide tables are works of fiction, and they all carry a stick.
Yeah, there you go. I love it. Douglas Adams. He's our hero. If you haven't worked out, he's our hero. I can go into a dissertation of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy if you want, but I'll try. I'll spare myself the embarrassment of getting all the lines wrong. Anyway, moving right along. It is fun.
Dallo. Hello,
Dallo's here. Okay, he'll be missed. Bangalore Road is quite entertaining, slightly softer version of Walking Street and Pathia, methinks. Yeah, well, I really can't compare, but Walking Street, that's just something out of this world. Yes, I am in the Discord for a while. Okay. Issues with Australian beaches now is the sewage warnings. They're now, yeah. Well, I haven't been there for a while. Yeah, so sewage is being a problem out there. I wouldn't have thought that, but yeah, I thought they were doing things to arrest that. Yeah, Bungon Beach is one of the better beaches on the northern beaches of Sydney, or if, as the locals will call it, or us Hornsby people, because that was our beach. Bong-on Beach. 5 o'clock in the morning, before you, as the sun gets up. Yeah, I'll just leave your imagination to it. Yeah, moving right along. What else was I wanted to talk about? Yeah, so well, the video hasn't come out. It'll come out probably tomorrow or Monday. I spent the afternoon with Chris, not yesterday, but Friday a week ago, and we were talking about TikTok. So I thought, well, let's talk about TikTok. I had a few, like I've only been playing with it for a couple of weeks. So this, if you haven't worked out, is my TikTok. Okay, we're on YouTube, we're talking about TikTok. Yeah, I know it's an absolute, faux pas and everything else. Who cares? I don't. Anyway, this is my TikTok. You're quite welcome to go and find me on TikTok. It is Waz's Thailand or PopeKael. That's my moniker in the internet world. Pope as in a Discordian Pope, not the real Pope, or the one that pretends to be a real Pope. Yeah, and Kael, which is it's a Hebrew. I'm not going to go into it. 9 degrees and sunny Phillip Island. Okay. In Victoria, sewage issues at the beach around for years, and keep saying we'll fix it. Okay, so I've never really swum in the beaches down there because I didn't think Victoria actually had beaches to swim at.
Ah, come on. Bill's Beach, one of the...
That's not Victoria, that's Bell's Beach. That's not part of Victoria. They're different people at Bell's Beach. They're surfers.
Yeah.
But they all hang out in Bell's Beach because that's the only part of Victoria you really need to be in. The rest of Victoria is rubbish.
No,
there we go. Lost all my Victorian friends.
Sorrento's got a really nice beach. I'm just trying. Well, when I was in Geelong, Torquay's got a really, apart from Bell's Beach, which is outside of Torquay if you've never been there, and there's a beach around Torquay as well. Lorne's got an awesome beach, and they're all part of Victoria. Not that I'm Victorian, I'm just standing up for my Victorian brothers. That's all. Sorry, I'll go back in my box.
Anyway, after running the TikTok for 2 weeks, right, the one thing I have noticed is the fact that I can see why people really get sucked into it. Okay, I've now got 58 followers on TikTok, but the number of views per video, if you want to call it, are almost 4 times of what you would get on YouTube for doing the same content in their shorts. Because these are exactly the same videos I put up on YouTube when I started doing the YouTube, shorts. Shorts, is it? Yes, YouTube shorts, that's it. So there's nothing new here. It's just all I just put it all back up on TikTok. And already I'm noticing way more engagement on this platform than on the YouTube platform. I think YouTube just need to just back up and just drop their shorts platform altogether, to tell you the truth. But that's just my opinion. It's just never going to run like TikTok. I don't think there's anything they can do to actually fix it, because it's a much better system. Well, for that style of video anyway. And it's really just the reason why I'm doing it is the fact that Chris said it's fun. It's fun watching, it's fun learning it, fun making little videos out of all the stuff that you've done. Like I've redone all those videos, but they're the same video content I put up on the YouTube platform. But one thing I don't like about TikTok is the shit that you see, like the Explore. Really, I don't know how people. Can we just shut that up? Yeah. It just, I look at the stuff that people do and I go, what? This doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But I found the way that I do like it. I only watch the stuff that your friends make, like the Tiger News. That's our friend Michelle. Global Travel Mate. I think you know him. He's on TikTok, so I get to see his stuff. And I find it's much more entertaining watching stuff of people that you know rather than the idiots out there that you don't know. They do curate the story, curate the feed for you after you use it for a while. But there's our mate. Tie it together. Yes, Chris. Let's just see what he has to say. Oh, that's right. I was there.
That didn't work. And then I thought maybe it was a twist thing, and it was like had like one of those.
We talked about that in my video.
I saw this on the kitchen table, and because it was a shiny object, it caught my attention.
I could be wrong.
And at first, I thought it was like, my girlfriend's like makeup kit thing, and I'm like trying to open it up, trying to figure it out. Then that didn't work. And then I thought maybe it was a twist thing, and it was like had like one of those fancy creams with specks of diamonds for skincare. And again, no, it's none of that. I have no idea what it is. I couldn't figure it out. Then I'm like looking for like electronics on it, and maybe a push button. I thought maybe it's like one of those foot sander things, and no, it's not that. I thought maybe, is it a Thai thing? Is it a Thailand thing? And again, no, whatsoever. It took me forever to figure this thing out. Check out what this thing is. Are you guys ready for this?
It's a brush.
What? What? Why is this a comb? This is a comb. This is definitely doing too much. I don't get it. I saw this on the kitchen table. Pregnant.
This is what it's curating for me. I don't. It doesn't know. It doesn't know me well enough yet to really get me sort of content what I would like, which is gaming and shit like that. And I'm not seeing much content like that. I've got some gaming channels I follow, like Star Citizen. Got their material. I got Unbound. He's another Star Citizen I know. I've flown with. So there's his little clips. But it's an interesting platform. I don't think you can take it seriously, though. It's one of those sort of things. It's view profile. Never take the thing seriously, but if you want to have a bit of fun, Chris is absolutely having a ball with it. I'm seeing some advantages in it, just to because like sometimes it's just not worth making a 15-minute video. You just see something funny and you just want to do, this little comment on it. So that's where all that stuff's going. As soon as I finish the backlog, I think I've got another 15 videos to upload from my back catalogue. But give it a try. If you got nothing better to do. I know us retirees, we have more time on our hands than it's poke a stick at, an Aussie stick that is. I quite like it. As long as you curate it right and it learns who you are properly. It's going to take a month before it knows what content I like to see. But I'm on TikTok, and the next video we talk about it. So there you go. Okay, what have I missed? Shan, good day. We go back a bit. How much? Robert, I know about. Okay, right. Best place in Victoria is the airport. So you can get out of there. Right, thanks, Robert. He's on my side. Stay warm over there. Really missing the warmth, embrace of Thailand. Did you see Robert on Facebook a few days ago? He put all these photos of his house with rain. I worked out. Yeah. He's worked out how to use Photoshop.
Oh, well, that's a video he had.
Isn't it I'm sure that's a filter.
2 or 3 years ago.
I'm sure that's a filter I can use on Photoshop to make it look rainy. Yeah, I don't know. He's trying to trick us. I don't know.
Well, it has been raining down my way for the last 3 days. So he may be telling the truth, but Bang Chung's a fair way away from Cha. So.
Is there influencers on Thailand? What is an influencer? Oh my God, that's the weirdest shit I've ever. Influencer. It's a new moniker for somebody who's just an arsehole that just wants to be known. Look at me. Look at me over here. I use this skincare cream. It makes me young. Oh, what the fuck?
Squirrel.
Squirrel. Yeah. Look, it's full of influences. We're just doing it because we want to just get a bit weird and loopy with it, and compare videos with the gang, So I've got a few of the gang now involved in it. I've got to find more of the gang that do it so we can compare each other's videos. We'll have our own little private TikTok just among friends. Get onto TikTok. You've got little videos. Come on.
No.
Do it.
No. No. I have enough time filtering the things that pop up with YouTube and Facebook. Yes, I do have a Facebook. Is it active? Only for my friends. And I still get these random, I want to be your friend. Unfortunately, I don't know anyone in Bangladesh or Sri Lanka, so no, I don't think I'll allow you in my Facebook group. Sorry.
The way I filter it is I look at each person, who are they following? If there's like half a dozen YouTubers I know, they're following you because you're on YouTube. If it's just somebody randomly with 2 or 3 friends who just go, but if they're Thai, and they look like they're posting on Facebook with Thai information, then I might, follow them back, because it's nice to get a bit of a cross section of everything everybody's talking about, which is the way Facebook works. It gives you a bit of a snapshot of what the real world is like outside the way that the propaganda machine wants you to think.
Yeah, unfortunately, the friends I do have, like I got a message about you posting something 3 days after you posted it, even though I filtered everything to just have friends.
Yeah, but if you want to see it instantly, you've got to actually start. There's a function in your Facebook to say always.
Always.
Does
yes.
it? They're still not doing always? Really?
No.
I get Shania's posts all the time for, as soon as I open.
Yeah. So Marky Mark and a couple of other people back in Australia, I'd be keen to find out what they're doing. But I find out 3 days after it happens, and I know one of the AI things is you need to interact with the post to make it rise. But why do I interact with something that's 3 days old and whatever I put in there is not going to be relevant?
It's the way it is. It's a two-way street. Look, I don't know the algorithm, but the way I look at it from the way I look at all problems that I try to solve, Facebook works at a two-way street, right? They're probably looking at your profile or maybe my profile where you get tagged. So that you're in that sort of circle of influence that I have, right? Because you're one of my better, my starred friends, and I want to tell you what I'm doing. And but those people who interact with me, I interact with you, blah blah blah, and it's just like it creates this little sort of private zone. But one thing you do need, there's a little utility that you put in your browser called FBP, Fluffy Bunny something or other. Fuck, I can't remember the name of it is. It's called FBP. Yeah. I'll quickly just give you a quick look at that. What it is, it's a filter for Facebook.
Yeah.
Right. You install this as an extension on your Facebook. It gets rid of sponsored ads, gets rid of all the games, gets rid of all the bullshit stories, gets rid of deleted friend stories, change names alerts, and you can customize it to your heart's content.
Yeah.
And it's free. I've even sent the guy money because I think it's a fucking brilliant utility. I'd rather give him $10 than fucking give Facebook my fucking analytic data. Yeah. And it keeps my feed clean. Of course, I interact daily, twice or 3 times a day with Facebook, so it curates my feed a lot better than most people. Of course, it's not updating. Good place for helmets, Mr. Good. But yeah, I get to see, still it's 2 or 3 days, there's so much stuff going on out there. It still takes 2 or 3 days for the feed to be consistent with what you need to do. But the more you interact with Facebook, the more it gets more precise and specific, right? You've got to teach the AI what you want, which nobody. This is again follow on from that last video. Nobody teaches anybody anything, right? You don't learn this shit. Where do you go to school to learn about Facebook? Where do you go to learn to school about Twitter or all these other social platforms? But we spend, no joke, the average human being spends an hour and 15 minutes a day on Facebook.
Yeah.
You spend none, so that means double the time for me. Is that right? I don't know.
I don't know, but I don't post on Facebook either.
Yeah.
Like my life is my life. The
Yeah.
people that know me know what I'm doing. I don't have to promote it to the world.
Yeah.
And I'm not that interesting to think it'll be worth promoting. So
Yeah.
I don't do that. And I just want to keep tabs of what my mates are up to. And I'll say it, and it's a plug for Discord. No, I'm not sponsored by Discord. There's a disclaimer. If Wazza puts up a notice on Discord, I'll get it within 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So I don't need anything else. Why would I? A couple of the guys I'm friendly with down here at Bang Chung, oh, you're on Facebook? No.
No, I'm online. I'm online and Discord.
I'm online.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you don't use Facebook? And I said, no. And I'm sort of looked at like a leper because I'm not using Facebook. But it's sort of like you make choices. And my choice is to have my mates and friends around me.
Yeah.
And they know how to get in contact with me. So, like I said, I'm having a hard enough time dealing with the friend requests on Facebook and the automatic pop-ups on YouTube. I don't need anything else going, oh, look over here, forget what you're doing over here, and we'll distract you with someone doing a 5-minute or 5-second bunny dance. And that's something you said with Twitter, with TikTok just before. I'm only making an assumption, you never do, but I think 99.2% what's on TikTok wouldn't interest the mindset that we have. That's just an assumption. So cats, I do like cat videos where they jump out and attack people. But there's only so many times you can. I mean, BMI, perfect example. Last time I was at your place, BMI was pouncing on this little gecko thing, and I thought it was the funniest thing ever. But that's just me. I'll shut up now. I'm being weird this morning.
I like Malcolm's comment. There are two types of human beings found on Facebook. One who gets an enormous amount of likes and comments on their posts, and the others are men. Well, I get quite a lot of likes and comments on my posts, but that's I put myself out there for that purpose of trying to be sort of fun. I'm a fun guy, if you can get over some of my idiosyncrasies. And I got a lot of those. I had TikTok until I seeing a 60-minute Australian article 6 months ago. CCP pushed it as fun things and permissions there. Oh yeah, look, there's just like every other place you go on that's free in the internet. People don't understand the internet is not free. You might pay your connection fees to get a connection to the World Wide Web or the TCP infrastructure of the global network, right? You can do that. Yeah. But yeah. What am I thinking of? Here's a moment. Okay. Yeah, so what was going with that? Yeah, so I was looking at all the comments because people have been talking amongst themselves and trying to make sure that...
Mayor Grove's got rain. Dallo asked if his grass going to grow, and something about packaging and selling the clippings. That's the gist.
No, yeah, okay. I'm just trying to, because it's like trying to scroll back, because there's a 30-second delay, plus there's a conversation going on. What's the important stuff? But yeah, so, again, these social media platforms are free. The internet is not free. It costs lots and lots of dollars to make that infrastructure run, right? They give it to you for free because you are the product. That's the end of the story. Right, everything you say and do is being monitored and garnished and collected, and they put it through AI engines to teach the AI engines on how people behave and think. You are the product, right? So how do you defeat it? Well, you give it the wrong data. right? And there are ways to do that. I don't have the links for it. There's pages and pages of stuff that's been put out there by people like me. I could have written one as well, but people have done better shit. And what it is the fact that you just basically open your browser, open that page, and walk away. Right? And what it does, it just randomly feeds the AI engine with bullshit. Right? It has no idea, about what is real or not. And that's one way to confuse it. If everybody in the world just started running that, the whole thing would collapse. Started feeding it bullshit data, the whole system collapsed. This is the other side of the conversation I was having, I think, talking about, like there are more and more social media platforms. We don't see companies out there, getting 20% more revenue for their advertising budgets. That's a financial decision based on profitability of a company. And they don't automatically just give it more money to more advertising. It has to be a very finely tuned equation on the balance sheet, right? And if you've done financing or anything else like that, it's a very precarious thing. You've got to keep balance. So if you've got twice as many platforms to advertise on, and you didn't get twice as much money to advertise on them, what happens? Well, you give those platforms less money. But the platforms still need money to run. So now they're looking for other places to get the money because the advertisers aren't filling the bucket. So TikTok is now, no, not TikTok, X has now, got a subscription fee. Facebook are talking about a business subscription fee, right? YouTube they have their, you can take our ads off, if you pay this fee, Netflix, they're now running ads because they don't make enough money, right? It's the way it goes. This stuff here costs money to run, and we're the product, and it's now costing us. I don't think Facebook will ever be a paid system. It'll never go that way. It'll just collapse overnight. But they are going to offer incentives to people to give them money because the advertising dollars aren't there. That's how it works. And those advertisers, all they want to do is just pollute the stratosphere with bullshit advertising. You don't need a new car. You don't need a new watch. Right? That $5 underarm deodorant is as good as that $25 one. Right? People have got to wake the fuck up. Seriously. Anyway, that's my little rant for today.
Where is it? I've been waiting a week for this because I forgot to do it last week, but I can show you Mayor Groves. Yes, I am drinking Chang. It's not the Chang that Mayor Groves drinks, but I am drinking Chang.
I've got dihydromonoxide. Oh my God! I think it's poisonous, isn't it?
I don't know. I thought it was H2O, but I could be wrong.
There we go. Solved the world problems. Why can't AI replace managers? Because it's not designed to be useless. Yeah, well, that's a good point. I read the article, or an article this morning, all these AIs that are being introduced to detect AI writing. The top experts have come out and says it's all bullshit. Don't bother trying to pay for any of those systems. They just don't work. Because the AI learns. You feed the AI loop through the AI loop, and you can teach it to spot itself, and now not be the same as itself. It's a catch-22 situation, that one. His comes in a green bottle.
Yeah,
I know.
Yellow liquid. It's not white like
that.
It's
fizzy yellow liquid. Yeah. We tried some of that, in the days of COVID, when we had to go to Susie's bar. I had to drink all that stuff in paper cups. That funny yellow bubbly liquid they called tea. I think they called it tea. We were ordering tea. There was very expensive tea.
Yeah.
But at least we didn't get into trouble for drinking tea. Dried leaves boiled.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a strange world we're living in. Like I have enough time in the day just to sort of get my head around the top echelon of what's going on, and it's crazy. It is. Well, that's what I do all day. I read, I play games and I read science journals and articles because that's sort of shit that I do. I won't bore you with that. Sabine Hochstetter, she's pretty good. You subscribe to her. She has some good stories. I quite like her. If you want YouTube stories, that is. And Todd made me subscribe to the Y-Files.
Oh, Hecklefish.
Hecklefish.
Hecklefish. Yeah, but you're learning something.
Oh yeah, you're always learning something from it. Yeah.
And I'd rather watch something that I'm going to retain knowledge that may be useful down the track. So similar to you was, I read and watch stuff that, apart from cats jumping out of bushes, that is going to be educational, if that's the correct term. So that's why I like Y-Files, because it's stuff that, as I was growing up, don't know much about that. There's only limited books about that, but then you get the video and the way he presents it, I find entertaining as well as educational. So
yeah, another one I like is Veritasium. That's another good channel as well. Always some good science on that. But yeah, 3 good channels to watch on YouTube that are worth watching. You know, if you really want to, learn about the world, in a fun sort of way. Because places I go to, you might bore you to like one of my home start pages is that one. I talk about it often. And if you want to learn about science, that's where you go. You go phys.org. That's where it is. It's 90% of the stuff is peer reviewed, so it's real science. Right? It's how you do science. You do science through peer-reviewed science. So that's science. Everything else is just a theory. Yeah.
Oh, Joseph watches Y-Files. Okay, awesome.
Heat waves are hitting Antarctica too now. Okay, that's an interesting article. There's so many climate deniers out there, never bother looking at the science. They selectively handpick science to support their argument, but they never look at the majority of science. They don't realise there's a big floating ball in the middle of space, right? And what they fail to realise is the fact that there's this thick, crusty stuff on a sea that floats, and it all floats like this. So you tell me, if you this is an argument I really fucking get on my goat. You put a seesaw in the middle, right? Right, and you put a fucking chunk of fucking ice up here on the North Pole, right? Well, it's going to push down, isn't it, from weight, gravity. So it makes something else up here push up. That's the way it works. That's just gravity. Gravity is undeniable, right? So if you melt the ice, it's going to lower. That's going to get higher there and lower here, but get the idea. It's going to equalise itself. It's still going to float on the sea of magma. Right? That's why we don't see, the whole world, rising sea levels, because it's localized, because the tectonic plates equalize the weight. But it's happening, right? But they don't explain it that way because it's too hard for the average person to understand basic physics. Right? And don't get me started. Anyway, if you want to really learn about science, you learn about science through peer-reviewed science, Anyway, but that's life. That's just me. I'm just a bit weird when it comes to that. I'd like to get some more reading in, but more reading sort of fiction. I don't get time to read fiction anymore. I want to go back and read my Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy again. When am I going to get time to do that? And of course, I just recently got the audio books for Foundation.
Oh, okay.
So they're on my Plex. So you got to start a Foundation, and they're not in order, but you got to know the order to read them. So
I'll just check the wiki, and that'll give it to me.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. But yeah, so what do we do when we retire? What the retirees are supposed to do? I don't know. Am I doing the right thing? I know there's some people out there, and all kudos to them. They want to be perpetual tourists.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get as much enjoyment of tourism just by looking at pictures and videos of other people doing it. I don't need to go there and be ripped off.
I just need my brain to be stimulated.
Mm.
And whether that's us sort of doing our adventures in gaming, or it's me doing flying when I get the chance, or it's learning the Thai language. I think once you stop stimulating your brain,
Mm.
it's not sort of an enjoyable. You need that. What is it? The dopamine fix of
Well,
having a challenge and succeeding.
yeah,
And you get that from doing different things to get your brain stimulated. So
yeah.
I don't think sitting in a bar drinking 5 hours, 9 hours a day and doing that 6 days a week is stimulating the brain.
Oh, well, they probably talk amongst themselves and things like that. That's, I suppose that's some sort of level of stimulation, but you only learn by hanging around with people that are smarter than you.
Oh, yeah.
That's the way I've always learned. I've had my guru or mentors and sages in my life. In my 62 years of experience. They come and go. Every 5 years. Of course, in the last 10 years, the physical sages that I would associate with have all dissipated. It's now been replaced by the social media platforms. You don't find the people out there, doing sort of those fringe stuff where they open themselves up, and look at problems with, collectively as how to, like, there's always a way around it. I've been watching a series called, what was it? Can't remember. I've been watching a series which I found rather interesting. Where is it? Where's my Plex? Link to my Plex goes there. And I didn't really want to do that. Yeah, Deception. It's on the Plex there. And it's just basically a magician who falls into, it's just...
I know that one. I've watched it.
Oh, yeah, it's a good series. I really enjoyed
yeah.
it. I'm on the last episode. I'll watch that later today.
Yeah, and it was set up brilliantly for a season 2, and it never occurred, and that really peeved me.
The reason I read somewhere that season 2 is on its way.
Really?
Yeah, but they didn't say when, but the writers, it's in the backlog, but that's why I started watching it, so ready for season 2.
Oh, it's awesome.
But yeah,
awesome. Deception.
It's a good, it's light-hearted, it is fun, but yeah. It just reminds me just the fact that that's what life is. It's all deception. You need to define your own life. I'm just really sort of commenting on that last one there. Sort of where is it? Where did he go? Wait, lost that last thing. Joseph, retired. Wish I could at 51. Yeah, well, you can retire in Thailand at 51 if you got the money. The retirement visa kicks in at 50. They'll allow you to retire here at 50 or plus, but you do need to have your 800,000 baht or therefore same level of equivalent income per annum, and they'll let you stay forever. Well, at the moment they will, as long as you comply with the rules.
Yeah.
This is where we talked about that last week. What are they going to do next? But we'll burn that bridge when we come to it. I've got some strategies in place, which I didn't want to do for another 2 years, but because if I let it sit, not did it for 2 more years, then that's 2 more years of positive growth, where I'm not actually taking something out of it. But yeah, I'm just going to probably have to bring that forward. If they announce the fact that you need more money to be a retiree here, then they're just going to do something to adjust those numbers, which is all there is to it. Witness an idiot. So Marky Mark's in the house. Let's start at the beginning. Late night last night, milestone was met in the secret project. Secret project, I still have beer glasses on. Witness an idiot run down some people in the city. Oh yeah, I read about that one too. Some crazy out there. But I'm pretty sure that happens all the time. Find retirement great, except for the lousy pay. Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, you've got to plan your pay rises. Unfortunately, that's the thing, because nobody else is going to do it.
Yeah.
If we could only just, encourage the stock market to, be a bit more, finicky, less finicky, I should say. There was one company here that bought the Miss World pageant a couple of years ago, and they've now had to sort of, basically sell shares to cover their speculation. Don't know how that's going to go. They may actually get. Don't think they've been delisted or something. Why I'm planning a transfer next year to Thailand. Okay. That's why you're planning. So you're planning to come, yeah. How do you really quantify that? You either need sort of offshore, out of Thailand income, right, which doesn't track as an income source, because I think if it comes through as a company name payment in your bank books, they might get upset about it. But yeah, make sure the only money that comes into your Thai bank account is something from overseas from another bank. You should be right. So make sure anything you're doing, as a digital nomad, make sure they pay you into your overseas account rather than your Thai account if you're going to work here.
I think in one of his posts he mentioned he's going to work for a telco, so it's a proper job.
Oh, okay, that'll work.
Yeah,
they'll deal with all the bullshit fucking visas, work permit visas, and everything else. Usually, mind you, Gigi used to have some problems. He was the director of our office here in Bangkok, and he used to tell me all the dramas he used to have yearly with his work visa and business visa. As he just paid somebody to deal with it, but it was always a challenge for him. I don't know, for some reason. But that was 2005 through to 2012. So things may have changed. Mark, I had to work an extra week when I get home, so now I only have 1 week's holiday. That sucks. Yeah, that sucks balls, man. Don't like that at all. What else are we going to talk about? So we talked about TikTok, we talked about that other thing. Well, we've got a basic threat of retirement.
Well, if Joseph checked out the live stream last week, we spoke about retirement funds and funding and saving a fair bit. So
it really comes down to the fact that you've got to take any government assistance out of the picture. Well, I'm
screwed. I'm screwed.
Yeah, well, you're got a different thing, I think, because you gave them blood. If they decided to take that away, they would not have an armed forces at all anymore, because they would just exit very quickly. Well, when I looked at the armed forces, the only negative I had the fact that they wanted me to kill people, literally kill people, because my skill with the firearms. I wanted to do engineering, but they didn't want to put me through engineering. They're taking me on as a gunner. What's a grunt going to do? There's no future in being a grunt or even a marksman. So I decided no. But the positive side of being the armed force is the fact that you can retire in 20 years and you can live in Thailand on a pension.
It wasn't positive. I'd rather still be doing stuff.
So. Yeah.
But when you get lemons, you make lemonade. So
you always make the adjustment. I said, my budget is set for $3,000 a month. It's harder with the exchange rate at the moment, right? It makes a dent. Plus the higher inflation rates. Mind you, it's not as high as it is in Australia. We've got about a 2.3% inflation rate here at the moment, haven't we? Robert will tell us, as usual. They're predicting a 5% GDP growth next to 2024. I think they're a little bit speculative on that one as well. But we'll have to see. The government's only just been elected. Is small at the amount, is it? Well, it's enough to live on. But yeah, you got to take the picture of, when I first looked at it, I looked at the fact that I want to retire early. If the government, because like even back then in 2015, 2016, there was already sort of writing on the walls the fact that, the whole age pension thing was just not going to exist after a certain period of time. That was always, they didn't have the money anyway. It's just money that they have to take from Peter to give to Paul. And with less people entering the workforce and less taxes and everything else, trying to adjust those tax balances. Yeah. One way out is, encourage the population to have their own personal superannuation, and then we'll be able to drop our superannuation, or our pensions. That's the way that the government thinks. So the Whitlam government basically took it from a governmental system into a corporation system and fucked Australia, and just did things to the constitution. Didn't do this. Actually, what he did in '74 was not constitutionally sound or something. For reading recently, made Australia into a corporation. But yeah, the Constitution still does exist. We just need to bring it back. Bring it back. But anyway. Apparently 1.75%. I think it's a little bit higher than that. I would have sort of said probably about 1.92%. But yeah, they always use some funny figures. The inflation rate, I think geographically we have to look at the inflation rate across Thailand as being zonal. The inflation rate in Bangkok, I think, is running at about maybe 15% at the moment. The price of what you're buying is street food. Oh my God. Is it Cody keeps on telling me what he's paying for his grab meals, and he's paying seriously 20% more than I am for the same stuff.
Okay. Well, that's one thing I had to teach myself being in this area. Grab is not as prevalent in regards to ordering our favourite meals was, and I've got into the street food now. I just walk down the Moo Barn and out the front, and there's stalls and everything like that. So my PopeKael and everything like that.
I'm eating twice as much Thai food now because they've actually put a translator in the Grab app, so I can actually read the Thai menus. But they didn't put it. It's on the Android.
It's on the Android, but it's not on the iPhone.
Well, I'm sorry, I can't help you with that.
No.
But yeah, so I've been just eating more Thai food because I can actually read what I'm eating now. Because before, what I would do is I'd find something that the picture looks good, I'd have to screenshot it, then have to read it with Google Translate. That's you got to do that for every meal, and by the time you're done half a dozen, you've lost interest in Thai food.
Well, you've lost the will to live. I still have to do that.
But yeah, so it's all in English now. Well, translated English, they got some funny translations, but I think they're close enough for you to make an informed decision about what you're eating. Mind you, I ordered a chicken curry with long beans on Thursday night, and I'm thinking I'm going to get chicken curry, but it was chicken with a curry sauce as opposed to a curry, like it's a. There's different ways to do chicken curry, and it wasn't what I expected. But it looked right on the pictures, but again, it wasn't that taste I was wanting. It was a slightly different taste, and I only went for one chili. The chili levels 1 through to 3. How hot did you want it? Well, I wanted one chili. I should have said, could I have half a chili, please? Because that kicked me in the stomach about 2 hours later, as it does. But anyway, idea pension, $2,000 is cool. Bonuses are tax-free though. Yeah, well, yeah. Well, I said my budget is $3,000, and it's a livable budget, with what we do in our lifestyle. We have a fairly high mortgage, 24,000 baht a month, and that's what's the current rate now? I think we're going to be looking at probably, that's going to be maybe up 2,000 baht a month next April, when the variable interest rate kicks in. So it's not a 2,000 out of my budget, which is why I've been thinking of, I'm going to have to look at a $3,500 budget, going forward, unless of course Australian dollar improves. But the good news is the fact that we've got motor skills developing in Ben now. His right hand. He's, you have to. I don't want to make videos because I do expect a full recovery, and then I don't want this to be in his Facebook archives for the rest of his life, because he probably want to go over the sort of the 6 to 12 months that he was an invalid. Exactly how much recovery he's going to get, I believe he's probably going to be wheelchair bound for quite some time. But he's now sitting up himself in bed. Well, when we lift him up, he hasn't got enough energy to actually go from a lying position to a sitting position by himself. But once we help him to that position and sit him on the bed, he can maintain his posture as a seating position. His left arm, which is the first arm that started working, he's now feeding himself and eating kanom.
Yeah.
He's got to have his kanom. Thai's got to eat their kanom. So he's sitting. So that's what I saw. He could hold the chip packet in his right hand, and he's getting chips out, and he's feeding himself now. Still no vocals from him, but you can see he's trying to make that part of the engine work.
Yeah.
There are sounds coming out now, but I suppose you've got to learn to make the jaw work for sustenance before you can actually make the tongue work for speech or something like that. Yeah. It's hard to really sort of try to. It's almost like he's a newborn baby learning everything again.
There'll be a lot of dystrophy there, like muscular dystrophy, and it's the relearning. I can only sort of, from my experience in regards to the injury in my arm and having it all reconstructed and everything like that, and that's just nothing compared to what Ben's going through, and I'm not trying to align myself with that, but it took 9 to 12 months to get rid of all the dystrophy in just one arm. So I can totally understand what challenges are ahead for him.
Yeah. But the thing is, we are seeing progress weekly. So, I now have, unfortunately, we're going to have to wrap it up. We go over the hour already.
They got a bonus show.
They got a bonus show. I know we got PMI's looking poorly. We might have to take her to the vet. That's all.
Okay.
We're going to sort of find out what's wrong with her. She's just basically lethargic. She's not playing. She's just lying on the bed. She's looks like she's got some sort of like internal system malfunction. We've got to take her to the vet and see what's going on. But yeah, so I've got to wrap this up because Sonia's car is still here. She hasn't gone yet, so she's probably just working out what to do. Anyway, so Ben's on the recovery. It's still going to be months away before we know what's going on. Stephen Monash has finally just got here. And he's here to tell us to play the music to get out. Is that right?
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for joining us. Depending on the situation with the cat and the vet, we're either off there and we won't be gaming. If that's not the case and they're going to deal with themselves, then we'll be in Twitch in a few minutes after a reset. Okay. That's if you want to hang out and do more shit and just chat about bullshit and fight demons on whatever game you're playing. Anyway, cue the song, get off. Thank you, Stephen. Okay, we're out of here. And don't forget, that's how you use Discord. Peace out, and we'll see you later.